Good afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of the Rockbridge Report. I'm Cameron Steele. The Rockbridge County School Board faces what some say is the biggest budget cut in the district's history. No one knows just how much the district will lose, but the school board is working under the assumption that it will be around $2 million. And those cuts are causing the board to make some tough decisions. Reporter Vesoulis attended the public forum on Monday and learned the public has a lot to say about the issue and isn't about to accept defeat.
I propose that a task force be immediately established, not next week, tomorrow, to explore all options available to maintain the integrity of our schools.
The school board presented two plans to the public about how to cope with the possible 6.9% budget decrease, to drastically cut programs or to close Effinger Elementary School and Rockbridge County Middle School.
We're here because of a shortfall in revenue, not because anybody wants to be here, not because anyone would ever want to talk about eliminating a program, eliminating a teacher, eliminating a school.
The savings from combining Effinger Elementary and Central Elementary would total over $526,000. An additional $950,000 would be saved if Rockbridge Middle and Maury River Middle School consolidated. 38 jobs would be cut. If the school board was to implement a cut in programs, the district would save over $2 million, but lose 42 jobs. The public didn't like either of the options the board presented. They brought their own ideas, such as forming a task force or making personal sacrifices. Emotions ran so high here on Monday night that teachers volunteered to take pay cuts. Community members vowed to cancel their Cinemax and HBO subscriptions to pay for a possible tax hike, and some even whipped out their checkbooks. Teachers and parents expressed concern about the possible closing of Effinger Elementary, focusing on the personal attention and accreditation Effinger received.
They are passionate about teaching, and their enthusiasm is contagious, and our children are excited to learn, and you cannot get that in a very large class.
But some parents don't see the closings as necessarily a bad thing. As it currently stands, Effinger Elementary School gets 2 times more money per student than Central.
I would love for the school district to spend $11,000 educating my student next year. Please hand it over to all of us.
While many parents and other community members' first priority was to keep both schools open, the high school students had a different idea.
We plead with the school board tonight to save our elective programs in order for our students to have an advantage in universities and jobs after their educational career.
The school board has until April 1st to come up with a solution.
You know, the president, they bailed out the banks, they bailed out the car industry. Who's going to bail us out? I don't think it should be our kids, and our kids are the ones who are suffering. I think we've got a problem here.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Vesoulis.
The school board expects to hear from the General Assembly sometime next week. If you live in Lexington, higher water bills could be in your future. Lexington's Finance Committee meets tonight to talk about water rate increases. Reporter Katie Geddes has the story.
A lot of our costs are fixed. Usage may be lower from our 2 biggest customers, while the rates might have to go up.
When Washington and Lee University and Virginia Military Institute cut their water intake, it affected the Maury Service Authority's water rate. To cover fixed costs, the MSA had to increase their wholesale water rate to Lexington and Rockbridge County.
And you can't lay people off. You can't send them home for a furlough because the tanks run dry. So there's only so much you can do, and then you have to raise the rates.
The rate increase affected the city much more than the county because the county uses more water.
Our utility fund could very well be completely broke by the end of the year.
These increased rates for the city mean higher water bills for residents.
It's kind of perverse, but the more people conserve, the higher their rates are going to be.
A 2005 energy use audit found that W&L used more water than other colleges and universities per capita. To reduce its water usage, the university exchanged old water fixtures with new low-flow ones like these in 2006.
Probably the biggest consumer were toilets and urinals, and a regular toilet an old-fashioned toilet might be about 5 gallons per flush. and the new ones are about 1.6 gallons per foot. So that's a huge difference.
VMI's capital improvement plan, Vision 2039, helped decrease the amount of water they use on post.
We renovated 63% of the space. Our water usage has dropped 60%. So it ties in well with the renovation.
Both VMI and W&L say they plan to continue to conserve water to make their facilities more efficient. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Katie Geddes.
The Finance Committee meets tonight at 6:30 to discuss the utility budget. They'll give a recommendation to the Lexington City Council about increasing water rates. School closures and water rate hikes aren't the only results of recent financial woes. Virginia faces a $3.1 billion deficit. With budget cuts on the agenda for the Virginia General Assembly, most everyone will experience the effects. Reporter Caroline Helms investigates another area of Rockbridge County that could feel the pinch.
Funding could soon be cut in Virginia for inspectors at meat processors. The state may decide to cut funding to the Talmadge-Aiken Meat Inspection Program, which covers 50% of the cost of inspections at processing plants. Meat processors will now have to pay twice as much for federal inspectors. Donald's Meats, open since last October, may have to increase its prices if the program is cut.
It'll be passed on to the consumer, yes it will be.
Potter said the increase in price will not be very significant and believes his customers will stay loyal.
When people are aware that there's a local product and a much better product than they can get at other places through the commercial deal, they're going to come and buy our product.
25% of the meat used in Rockbridge County schools comes from Donald's, and they hope to keep using the locally processed meats even if the prices go up.
It's just a better product, and if you can get that out to the kids, you know, we need to try to do that, but we do have to stay within our budget.
Although Donald's Meats may see some changes in the next couple of months if the bill is passed through the Virginia General Assembly, Potter believes in his product.
We're guaranteeing a product that's 8 miles from Lexington and delivered here. No additives or any preservatives added to the meat.
The Virginia General Assembly must make final decisions on budget cuts in the next 2 weeks. With the Talmadge-Aiken Act on the line, look for meat prices to possibly increase in the next few weeks. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Caroline Helms.
It appears that drugs are more of a problem at Washington and Lee than recent arrests. More university sanctions have been handed out for involvement with drugs during the 2009-2010 school year than in previous years. At one point, there were 40 cases relating to marijuana heard by a student judiciary board in a 48-hour period. This concerns university officials, and as Rockbridge reporter Katie Shelor finds out, students say they are disappointed in their classmates' decision to use drugs.
And I'm surprised how many W&L students are outraged about drugs on their campus.
So not only are they illegal, I also think that their use is very contrary to the standards that Washington and Lee holds its students to.
Since January, one W&L student has been arrested on felony drug charges and one on misdemeanor drug charges.
It's a shame because a lot of people would love to be here, but to blow it all away for drugs, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
On campus, the Student Judicial Council investigates and acts upon cases of possible student misconduct. This includes drug cases. If a student is found guilty, the SJC can impose a range of sanctions from fines to dismissal from the university. Last year, the SJC issued 23 total sanctions, and this year, 61 sanctions have been issued to date. These cases were not all drug-related. The Lexington police see W&L as part of the larger community, and they want to see it free of drugs.
What are you willing to tolerate? What are you willing to put up with? Because if you don't like drugs on your campus, the administration's not going to like drugs on your campus.
If the university believes that standards are being compromised, we act on that. Absolutely 100%. Our standards are not in support of drug use. So no, I don't believe that there is any kind of heightened tolerance toward drug use.
University officials don't think W&L has more of a drug problem than any other college.
Nationally, college students are more tolerant of marijuana use, and so our students may just be playing out a national average. With that said, it doesn't change our educational obligation to try to help students see the clear path.
You know, I can't believe that you can belong to a community and not know. You may not know the individual people, but you know that something like this can go on and probably is going on.
But some students are more accepting of drug use than others.
I actually don't think it's really much of a problem. I feel like it's isolated in particular groups.
As far as I'm concerned, like, I don't particularly want to, as long as they're not trying to make me use drugs or somehow like impeding something that I'm trying to do by using drugs, then I think it's okay.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Katie Shelor.
The Rockbridge Report continues to follow this investigation each week. The Virginia House of Delegates has tabled a bill introduced by Rockbridge County State Senator Emmett Hanger. The bill would require online retailers such as Amazon.com to collect the 5% state sales tax on purchases. But Hanger said the Senate supports a budget proposal that effectively enacts the policy. Members of the House refused to support a measure that raises taxes, but according to Hanger, the issue is fairness because this is a tax that is already owed. Some area business owners support the policy because they struggle to compete with the low prices provided by online retailers. 2 blocks of downtown Lexington were closed for 30 minutes this morning because of a smoking toaster oven. Cocoa Mill Chocolate Shop employees called 911 when they smelled smoke around 11 in the morning. Fire trucks from Lexington, Buena Vista, and Cars Creek blocked off West Nelson Street between Lee Avenue and Main Street, concerned that the whole row of buildings could go up in flames because many of them do not have firewalls. Emergency crews found the toaster oven before any damage could occur. This weekend's weather looks like it's perfect for shopping locally. Here's your 5-day forecast. Tonight, skies will be clear with lows in the 20s. Starting on Friday, you can sport your sunglasses because the cloudy skies will be gone. Friday, it's going to be in the mid-40s with a low of 26 degrees. Saturday and Sunday's temperatures are expected to go up to the mid-50s. Monday will kick off the week, continuing the sunshine. Temperatures are expected to reach the mid-50s and go down to the high 30s. Well, that's all we have for you today. Thanks for tuning in to the Rockbridge Report. We'll see you next week.